once in a lifetime chance. Who'll rule the world? Gotta see who'll rule the world.
Welcome to the Sydney Cricket Ground for the highlights of the match between Australia and South Africa. South Africa officially back at international level after all these years, and this game against Australia to be played in just about perfect conditions. There's been a lot of rain in Sydney, but Tony Greig reported that the pitch and the outfield were in excellent nick out there. These are the two teams. First of all, the Australians. They've made a change. They've brought in Michael Whitney to strengthen the bowling. They've left out Mark Waugh, who had a disappointing match over at Eden Park in New Zealand. He's 12th man. There's still plenty of batting there for the Australians and a good strong bowling side strengthened by Whitney. And the South African side playing here at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Well, names new to Australians there. Kepler Wessels is not new. He's skippering the side. Did play for Australia some years ago and played very successfully. Andrew Hudson, Peter Kirsten, Hansi Cronje, Adrian Caper, Jonty Rhodes, who we understand is a brilliant fielder, Brian McMillan, then Richardson, Snell, Pringle, Donald and Rushmere. Mark Rushmere will be 12th man. Alan Border won the toss and decided Australia would bat. There'll be a little bit of sweating of the pitch, might be some life there for the bowlers early on. Well, we're going to join it now with the very first ball of this historic game between Australia and South Africa. Alan Donald is the bowler. The first voice you'll hear in commentary is that of Tony Greig.
Oh, and he's got him first ball. Yes, he's got to be out. Huge appeal. My goodness, that looked as if there was a deflection there. The South Africans cannot believe it. The umpire down at that end is umpire Brian Aldridge from New Zealand. Given that first one not out, well, what a beginning that would have been. Well, Laurie, it's a very good morning. What do you think of that one?
I thought it moved a lot off the seam, and it looked like to me as if it was a big edge there, and the ball went off the wicket keeper, who took it cleanly. That was David Richardson. That's a big letdown for Donald. See the ball there moving away, and there's the deflection, and straight through to the wicket keeper. No doubt about that. That was an out, and unfortunately, umpire Brian Aldridge, quite nervous, ruled not out in favour of the batsman.
Oh, beautiful shot through the covers, into the fence for 4. You can't afford to bowl half volleys. Certainly not to David Boone. He may have missed at 1 or 2, but boy, once he gets going, he really is magnificent to watch. Have another look at this shot.
Despite the fact that there's been a lot of rain, the outfield quite fast. That wasn't such a bad delivery. It certainly swung. It was just the width that was the trouble, and gave Boone time to pick it up early and punch it through cover point for 4.
17 off 18 balls to Boone, so he's certainly turning it on. Marsh has received 13 deliveries. Good shot. Straight down the ground. This outfield quick enough, I think, to take that one down to the boundary. Into the fence for 4. So Merrick Pringle suffering at the hands of David Boone.
So David Boone is the form player for Australia. He's continuing on from Auckland with his good placement and good drive. This is a beautiful shot. Just waited for the ball to come, hit through the line. It was always going to be 4. So Boone quickly on to 21, and the run rate very good for Australia. These early stages, this vital match, good positive stroke. Not a bad delivery. But, Boone just too good.
Certainly some good strong arms from the outfield. Cronje, the man that fired that one in. We've seen Merrick Pringle field very well out in the boundary. He's the man that they say is a brilliant fieldsman at point, cover point. Need to be brilliant to stop shots like that. 5 runs off that over. It's none for 42. Richard Snell is the man coming on at the Paddington end. Boone's coming. There's a chance if they hit. Umpire Bucknor in good position, and David Boone didn't even bother to look around. So South Africa have finally got the breakthrough, and it's probably the more important batsman. They've got David Boone.
David Boone already played some fabulous shots here this afternoon. The Australians normally do run very well, but on this occasion Boone's been coming looking for the run. Marsh wasn't looking for it, he was looking for the ball a bit more, I think. And in the end the throw, although it came just fractionally wide, good enough to run David Boone out. Australia 1 for 42 in the 10th over.
Dean Jones at number 3. David Boone, from Australia's point of view, tragically run out. 27 when he was in terrific form. There's a good example of Rhodes fielding at cover point. He's holding his head because he thinks it would have hit the stumps. The bowler probably wishes he let it go as well.
Great diving stop here by Jonty Rhodes, and he's up so quickly. Good arm. Great throw in there. In fact, it's Merrick Pringle, the bowler, who's taking a blow to the body there as the ball comes in. Again, the diving stop. Look how quickly he was up on his feet again. And this ball's fired in.
Brian McMillan is the bowler now. Welcome to the crease, Brian. That brings up the 50 for Australia.
The 50 coming up in good time there for Australia in the 13th over. And it's been balls like this, slightly over-pitched, half volleys that have been taken full advantage of by the Australian batsmen.
Cronje won't get that.
It's flashed away off the edge of Dean Jones' bat.
Some good overs there for Australia. See 3 overs at 6 runs per over, especially in the early stages, and then a 7, the 13th over.
We have Adrian Caper coming on to replace Brian McMillan. Got him, he's got him, brilliant. Adrian Caper gets the ball to run away, hits the edge, and Richardson takes a fine catch.
All the supporters who've come out on the special tours from South Africa will be delighted to see that second wicket go down. Jeff Marsh is the batsman. Once again, it's the away swing. It finds the outside edge. Caper, the number 5 bowler in the side, has broken through. And South Africa have done very well so far. 2 for 76 in 21. Boone is gone. Now Marsh is gone. Jones and Border, the not-out batsman. Jones on 13. Border just to face his first ball from Adrian Caper. And no need to worry about that. 3 down. Adrian Caper has got one to come back in the air. I sense it just flicked the inside edge. And onto the stumps. Alan Border for naught. What a wicket for Caper. And what a moment for him, because he's on a hat-trick in South Africa's return to the international scene.
What a sensational over this has been from Adrian Caper. The ball just swings in a little bit to Alan Border off the pad and knocks his off stump out. This has really changed the game around. Just what South Africa need right at the present moment.
3 for 76, 21 overs gone. Border bowled Caper naught. It wasn't an inside edge. It was just a flick onto the pad. Border was beaten by the swing. Ball came past the inside edge, flicked the pad, and then hit the off stump. And when I mentioned just a hint of a stutter, and perhaps it's a little more now, Clive.
Yes, I think that initial start that Australia got, they got going, they were scoring it pretty freely, and this is just what we needed.
Last ball of the over coming up for Adrian Caper. Chatton Sharma did it. Picked up the hat-trick, he bowled all of them. Ken Rutherford, Ian Smith and Ewan Chatfield in 1987 in that game between India and New Zealand. Tom Moody is the new batsman. Adrian Caper on a hat-trick. Not a bad one. It's 3 for 76 after 21 overs.
Too short and too wide. Dean Jones was always going to get 2. In fact, he's run 2.5. Only gets credited for 2 of them.
Got quite a few South African supporters here at the SCG, and some of them parked in the corner of the Doug Walters stand. We see the castle signs there. Virtually every ground in South Africa has what they call Castle Corner.
There's an edge to that one. Dean Jones has got to be on his way. He's waiting. Umpire Buckner waited for him to turn around and have a look. Umpire Buckner expected Dean Jones to walk away. He's now walking away. He's on his way. Caught behind for 24.
Well, there was no walk away Renee there from Dean Jones. Quite thick outside edge, comfortably taken there by the keeper Richardson. And then Jones went back to have a look at the umpire. Australia 4 for 97 after 28.
Australia in some trouble here at the SCG as Steve Waugh comes out to join Tom Moody.
And much will depend on this pair because Mark Waugh is not in the side. And Moody will look for 2. Now they may not get another one. Moody's got a long way past. They will in the end because the ball went right out to the 2 boundary runners at deep mid-wicket.
Merrick Pringle's throw here bounced alarmingly to say the least, and Hansi Cronje, who's just come on to bowl at the Paddington end, let it through, not realising it was going to bounce over the backing up fielders behind him.
4 for 108. Donald the bowler. It's well bowled, close to the stumps, very well bowled. That's brilliant bowling from Alan Donald. He's been bowling about halfway out in the bowling crease. That one he came in very, very close to the stumps, and that would have been a deciding factor for the umpire.
Well, there's a battle won here by 2 ex-colleagues, the English county of Warwickshire. Tom Moody trying to get away. You can see Alan Donald's delight there as the decision comes from umpire Aldridge in his favour, trapping Tom Moody just in front of off stump. At his consulate, Moody will go back. Pavilion, Australia 5 for 108.
Ian Healy is the new batsman. Comes out now to join Steve Waugh. Australia deep in trouble.
Oh, this could be out. Oh, he's missed the stumps. Dave Robinson, the wicketkeeper, picking it up. Had he hit the stumps, there was no doubt it was going to be out.
Yes, he just pushes the ball down, and Dave Richardson gets onto it very quickly, and he's miles out. He's not even in the picture here. Oh, and he only just misses. Dave Richardson will be very disappointed with that. But I think what's also happened here as well is Healy has pulled a hamstring, and that's just what Australia need right at this present moment. I'm sure Australia right at the present moment, needing Healy to keep, they sure need him behind the stumps.
Oh, and that one straight away beats the outside edge, and straight away you can see that Healy's a little restricted there. Pringle's the bowler.
Yes, this is a good delivery, just leaves him a little bit off the seam, but that hamstring injury is no doubt forefront in his mind, and he's just a little bit worried about that instead of concentrating fully on the ball.
Got that one away in the air and just wide of the fieldsman. One bounce into the fence. Hard to know exactly where to stand down there at square leg, but he went for it. He got it away in front of square, luckily. Good shot.
Yes, here's the replay, and it's just pitching just outside leg, and he picks it up. It's it sweetly and just avoids Hudson on the boundary.
Good shot too. No one at mid-wicket. Down to the boundary it goes, into the fence. in front of the Doug Walter stand, the old hill down there. Magnificent shot, pulled away down towards that boundary.
Is Healy, with his injury, knows that he can't do too much running, so he's got to play a few shots, and this is what he's characteristic of doing. Drags this one over mid-wicket. It's a big gap in the field there, 4 runs.
Boys hit that one down a square leg, and straight into the fence it goes. Healy picking the gap beautifully. 12 runs from that over. So not a good one for Pringle nor for South Africa. 5 for 141.
I think these next couple of overs are going to be decisive in the total.
He's hit that one high, and it's going to be out. There's no doubt about that one. Yes, it's gone. Unfortunately, Healy restricted a little bit by his injury. Hits that one straight up in the air, and Macmillan does the work. He got underneath it, so Healy out for 15, and Donald brought back to do just this. Have a look at the shot here, right off the toe of the bat, I'd say, and a pretty straightforward catch.
Brian Macmillan's got a very big pair of hands, and for him to catch that one when he's normally a slip fielder, very easy. This is just what Australia don't really need. One of the batsmen who's in, getting out. 6 for 143.
New batsman out there is Peter Taylor. In the air, gone. Caught extra cover. Straight to him, no question about that. They've not looked as if they were going to drop a catch. So that's brought a smile to Kepler Wessels' face. And the Aussies, in their efforts to try and lift the run rate, end up in situations like that. War making the drive there, and that ball hit straight to Cronje. He takes the catch, and Macmillan has struck. 7 for 146. Craig McDermott, 26 years of age, out there now.
McDermott's a good hitter, and he's almost caught. A brilliant effort at square leg. Kirsten went up, got a hand to it, couldn't hold on it. That would have been a ripper.
Sensational catch that would have been. A very good effort. He is a good fielder, has a great reputation. Just went backhand with the left hand. It's up above his head. He felt that he couldn't reach up with 2 hands, so he went to it with 1 hand. Attempted the backhand snatch, and if he'd got that, he'd certainly have gone into the classic catches.
Saved a run as well. Would have been 2, would have gone into the gap. McDermott picked it up pretty well, but Peter Kirstein there at square leg doing well for his team, and the pressure's on now. Peter Taylor looking for single. Could be a run out here surely if he hits. Misses. McDermott was out by metres. Well, a little bit of panic there, indecision between the 2 batsmen. He had a good throw at that, plenty of stumps, and missed.
Cronje, the fieldsman there, pretty good throw. Would have gone much closer. They get value for shots here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, but the South Africans have bowled so well. The boundary opportunities have been few and far between for Australia. If Australia can bowl well, I still believe they can win the game.
Peter Taylor knocked over, beautiful delivery, took the leg stump. He's been very, very impressive. He's very fast, and he's done the job for his captain and his team. That's his 3rd wicket. It's great to see the stumps blasted out of the ground at the Sydney Cricket Ground.
Plenty of pace there, as we saw Peter Taylor looking to cover the offside. I suppose it's his leg stump, only fractionally, but that's enough. Left the middle and off stump standing with the bail on it. Another very important wicket. Australia now really struggling. 45 overs, 8 for 156.
Richard Snell coming back into the attack. Michael Whitney, the new batsman. He gets a nick, a nice educated edge by Whitney. It could go all the way. Yes, it does. Well, they're valuable runs. Michael Whitney getting a lot of bat on that delivery. It was just a fraction wide.
The delivery was a fraction wide, and so was the fielder at 3rd man with a tail ender on strike. He's more likely to get the thick edges than the middle of the bat. I think I'd be trying to protect the finer boundary at 3rd man with the tail enders in. Michael Whitney will probably claim that that was an intentional shot. He will be very happy with the result.
Some beaten, well fielded the throw, but the bowls, it could be out. Got to be out, yes. Brilliant piece of fielding at cover point. Jonty Rhodes there, he's a brilliant fieldsman, he's got a great reputation. He didn't let his captain down when the pressure was on. And the 9th wicket falls at 161.
What a great pair of hands Jonty Rhodes has. Apart from his ability to move quickly, he's also got great hands, as we saw earlier in the day. He's pounced on that ball, he bounces back like the Indian rubber man. Snell not in great position. The throw found him. Snell found the stumps. McDermott now finding his way back to the pavilion. Australia 9 for 161.
Bruce Reid at the non-strikers end. Whitney on strike. It's past the bowler, so another run to Whitney. So 1 ball remaining for the Australian batsman. The score is going to be around about 170. And South Africa will have 49 overs to obtain that total. Reid strikes that down to long off. So after 40 overs, that's 9 for 170.
Well, what a performance that was from South Africa. The Australians stuttered a little and they could never get back after such a good start where they put on their first 50 from just 12.2 overs. This is the final card. It means South Africa need to make 171, 49 overs gone, and no one got past the 30 mark. 6 players got going, got into double figures, and then could do nothing with it. 9 for 170, and some splendid performances in the field and with the ball from the South Africans. I thought Alan Donald was wonderful, bowled with great pace, searing pace. 10 overs no maiden, 3 for 34. McMillan 2 for 35. Caper 2 for 15, broke the back of the Australian batting, and Snell 9 overs 1 maiden, none for 15. I thought was very, very good. So 171 to win for the South Africans. This is their great moment. Can they pull it off?
The man who's substituting for Ian Healy, apart from David Boone taking the gloves, at first slip we have Mark Waugh.
Held it. Skipper Alan Border got a first baller today from Adrian Caper. Saved some runs there. Runs for Hudson. First runs at limited overs international level, and he gets 3 of them. Good crisp stroke away through mid-on. Great relief to him. Made naught against India in that short tour where South Africa played their first matches back in international cricket. Hudson's on strike. Michael Whitney has been given the ball now. Reid has been taken off. That's a good shot. Short ball from Whitney, and Hudson made no mistake with he cracked it away beautifully square of the wicket on the offside.
So there'll be quite a big difference in bounce between Bruce Reid's deliveries and Michael Whitney's. A lot of that is to do with the extra height of Bruce Reid. Certainly anything that's outside off stump from Whitney is at a much easier height to put away from the batsman's point of view.
Oops, oh, it's no trouble, he's gone. No, it misses. Well, it was on. Jones was the fieldsman. Hesitation between the 2 batsmen. He threw at the stumps, missed, and he survives. That was a real let-off.
Yeah, Andrew Hudson plays forward calls. Kepler's watching the ball. Now there's a complete misunderstanding. A direct hit on the stumps here would leave him absolutely stranded.
That's a glorious shot. Beautifully played off his toes. That may go all the way. It's going down the hill. Just slowing up inside the fence. And they'll run 3. Now Andrew Hudson showing he's very strong through the onside region off the half volley.
Yes, Reid just strays onto leg stump here, and there's no place to bowl to Hudson. He clips it through mid-wicket, and there's a long run chase for them to save it just before the boundary. 3 runs.
Vessels 10, Hudson 16 as Vessels breaks the shackles there and hooks that away for 4. So it's a great start for South Africa in the 12th over. No wicket for 39.
Mike Whitney had drops a ball short. Kepler Wessels gets onto it very quickly, and with a field with the captain only allowing 2 people out of the circle, it's a free hit.
Oh, beautiful shot, magnificently placed, beautiful timing by Wessels into the fence at mid-wicket. He loves it in that area, especially if it's bowled from over the wicket by left-arm bowlers going down the leg side. This is a tremendous shot.
The strength of Kepler Wessels, leg side. 50 coming up for South Africa. It's come up in 96 balls and 63 minutes, so they're ticking along pretty well.
Oh, and he's dropped him. Well, it carried, he got a glove to it, but it popped out.
And a magnificent attempt, diving low to his left. He had the ball in his hand. In fact, that was the problem. He had the ball in the middle of his palm. Had he got it in the webbing of the glove, I think it would have stuck. Just the inexperience of how to use those gloves.
Oh, another beautiful cover drive. Racing away, and that will go to the boundary. Whack into the fence it goes. You won't see many better cover drives than this one.
This is an excellent shot by Andrew Hudson. Fallen wide. It wasn't a half volley by any means. He hit the ball on the up. Just hit through it. Timed the ball beautifully, and showing us some great talent out there at the moment. Nothing going right for Australia. Injuries to Ian Healy. Some disappointing batting performances.
And is this going to be the man that does it for Australia? He's broken plenty of partnerships in his time. A magnificent slow ball. Steve Waugh. Straight away a big appeal there for LBW. Straight away too, he bowled that slow one. It couldn't have been far away. He was playing across the ball. Big smile on the face of Wessels there. Let's have another look at this one.
Steve Waugh often feels hard done by the umpires. It's a pretty good shout. It was moving away towards the leg side. I would imagine that umpire Aldridge suggesting it was missing leg stump.
Now watch Wessels' right leg just move to the right, just to get it out of the way of the stumps there. It probably was just going down leg side anyhow. In the air, oh, and just short. McDermott's fielding just behind square, and just for a second it looked as if it was going straight to him. Well, Waugh causing a few problems.
Just half volleying Craig McDermott at backward square leg, but very close. Nothing going right for the Australians at the moment. Craig McDermott getting up very slowly.
So Border now going to ring the changes. He's going to bring Taylor into the attack. Oh, he's bowled in. That's the end. Taylor has struck. That's exactly what the Aussies needed. Peter Taylor, clean bowling Hudson. And the Aussies have come alive. They've gone a bit quiet for a while, but all of a sudden there's a bit of noise in the stadium.
Peter Taylor making the vital breakthrough again. Andrew Hudson just losing it a bit there. Didn't need to take that risk. Spun out of the footmarks. David Boone might have been in a bit of trouble if it missed the stumps, but it hit the top of off stump. South Africa lose their first wicket. Australia back on the way, 1 for 74.
Peter Kirsten is the new batsman.
That's not what the skipper will be looking for. Wide deliveries outside off stump. Not too many number 3s in the world that can't put those away.
It's actually one of Peter Kirsten's strongest shots. We saw a lot of cricket from Peter Kirsten in the UK in the last decade. Very strong cutter, and a very good player of spinners. It's the first loose ball actually that Peter Taylor's really let go in this spell so far.
So the skipper is coming on. Beautiful shot. He's a very, very fine offside player, Kepler Wessels. Terrific placer of the ball.
This is actually an ideal situation for Wessels. He knows that he only has to wait for the odd loose ball. He's very good at taking advantage of balls like this, over-pitched. Beautiful straight back, guided it through the gap at extra cover. The other part of Wessels, of course, is he's not going to give his wicket away. He's going to be there as the linchpin.
South Africa are ahead now, well ahead on the comparison from the point of view of wickets. 1 for 119, Australia at the same stage, 5 for 112. So everything moving towards South Africa's favour now as Craig McDermott comes back into the attack. Almost the last throw of the dice for Alan Border and the Australians now. Craig McDermott will need to blast a few out, try and change the delivery. Kirsten using all of his experience to dig it out.
Is Alan Border throwing his main bowler in here to try and get this breakthrough, which he so desperately needs. And Peter Kirsten just happy to push it around, pick up the odd single along with Kepler Wessels, as the run rate is not that high. 3 runs and over is normal cricket.
Brings up Kepler Wessels 50. Boundary takes him to 53 and 1 for 122 as the many South African supporters in the crowd rise to hail their captain. He's faced 110 balls. It's taken him 126 minutes. A lot of support here for the South African side. Many supporters coming from South Africa, many of them already living here in Sydney. And Border trying to lead by example, cutting off every run. Very frustrating period for Alan Border.
Yes, Alan Border is really leading from the front here, but it's not easy on the pitch there where it travels very fast.
In the air again, Peter Kirsten not quite hitting the ball well enough to get out. 2 runs, nothing going Australia's way. Peter Taylor showing the frustrations that all of the Australians are feeling at the moment.
Here Peter Kirsten comes down the wicket, turns on him, and I think he was looking to hit the ball straight, but because of the spin just dragged it out towards mid-wicket, and it got a little bit more dangerous than he thought it would.
Tom Moody has now come into the attack for Australia. Steve Waugh again showing the accuracy of the Australians, but in fact this has cost them a run. A bit of cricket by Kepler Wessels and Peter Kirsten. Probably wasn't a run on, but Kirsten was looking for a single. Steve Waugh moved in. A direct hit. Hits side on. Kepler Wessels sneaks the single.
Got that one away square on the leg side. That brings up the 150 for South Africa. And this is very, very disappointing indeed from an Australian point of view. Having said that, Alan Border is a great fighter. And we've pointed out that Australia will be looking to win 5. So Bruce Reid being brought back into the attack. He's got 3 to go. Got that one away. Bouncing down towards the boundary at square leg. Yes, into the fence it goes for 4. So Reid trying to drop one short at Wessels. Straight onto it there. Pulled it away beautifully.
He's
looking very, very confident indeed. Just watch the shot. Back goes his back lift there and whack. Straight into the gap at mid-wicket. So 11 runs to win now, and I'm going to hand over to Bill Laurie, who's just a little surly.
Thank you, Tony Gregg. It's Bruce Reid to Kipler Vessels. He gets over a point. That's going to go all the way, is it? And there comes Whitney. He doesn't get there, so it's 4 more. You can just imagine at the Wanderers Club in South Africa, they'll be going down there for lunch, and the corks will be coming out of the champagne bottles. It's been a magnificent effort by South Africa here in the World Cup match at the Sydney Cricket Ground, chasing 171 for victory as Kepler Vessels slashes it square. The South African captain playing a great knock. He moved to 74. Peter Kirsten is 49. It's 1 for 164. Bruce Reid continues. Vessels glances fine. This could go all the way. Around comes Moody. Does well. Picks it up. Just the 2. Full house here at the Sydney Cricket Ground, and they're quite stunned by this magnificent performance by South Africa.
And it's this man, Kepler Wessels, the South African captain, who's held the innings together. And it'll be a tremendous moment for him to be there at the end when they win this game.
And there's 4 more. So that'll take the score to 170 for 1 in the 47th over. And what a great moment for Kepler Wessels. He's played a superb knock. He handled his bowlers well. And guys who probably drift away, guys like Snell, who come on and bowled a very tight spell when it was rugged early. Didn't get a lot of wickets, but tightened the ship up for South Africa. It's been a good team effort.
Richard Snell there bowled his 9 overs for 15 runs. That was a key spell in the middle.
And there it is. Victory by 9 wickets to South Africa in this World Cup match at the Sydney Cricket Ground. A magnificent performance by the South Africans.
Welcome back. Well, that was a great performance from the South Africans. They never looked to be in any real trouble chasing that target of 171, and the way their scorecard finished up, it just shows what an easy job it was. 1 for 171, 46.5 overs used up, and Wessels remained 81 not out from 145 balls faced, and with him was the experienced player Peter Kirsten. I think Wessels would have appreciated having Kirsten with him there. 49 not out from 88, 1 for 171, and the bowling figures for Australia, nothing very good there. Peter Taylor, 10 overs, 1 for 32, the only wicket taker. McDermott bowled his 10 for 23. Border tried everything, but nothing worked out there. And the fielding, well, it just wasn't quite the strength of fielding we're accustomed to watching with an Australian side. Well, down in the presentation area now, Tony Gregg has with him the 2 skippers, Alan Border and Kepler Wessels, together with the player of the match.
Thank you very much, Richie. Well, I'm down here with Kepler Wessels, who's got a huge smile on his face. Certainly been smiling for a while, and why not? I've got the Benson Hedges World Cup cheque for you, first of all, $3,000. If you'd like to take that one away, I'm sure you and your men can find a way of getting rid of the $3,000 tonight. Kepler, before I ask you any questions, can I just also say that this magnificent Benson Hedges gold medallion is the man of the match medallion, and of course that's been taken away by Kepler as well. Congratulations to that too, and with that goes $500. Looks like it's going to be a good tour for you. Firstly, a big night for you. You went out there, having been put in by Alan Border. Everyone very tense at the start of play?
Yes, we were. We didn't get off to a good start. We bowled both sides of the wicket a bit, and they played well, so we were behind the 8 ball a bit, but the guys fought back very well. They fielded well, bowled well towards the end, and played well under pressure.
You've clearly got one of the best cover point fieldsmen in the world in young Jonty Rhodes. Tell us a bit about him.
Well, Jonty is also an excellent hockey player, and he's got tremendous pace across the ground, particularly the first 10 yards or so. And he's somebody that's developing into a very fine fielder, and he makes a big difference to our whole effort on the field.
Can I go right back to the beginning? You very nearly got off to the most sensational start of all time. Big neck, we thought, from the commentary box. You chaps also thought that first one was out?
Well, I mean, I don't really want to comment about the umpiring now. You know, it was disappointing. We thought it was a good shot, but that's the way things go, and you know, you just have to accept it.
And the Aussies, in fact, got off to quite a good start.
They did. Their rate was good, and as I say, we started to bowl better, I think, towards over number 20, and managed to keep the pressure up and get wickets at the right time. So that was heartening.
So we haven't seen your middle order yet. You didn't have to use any of them. I suppose it was a bit of a bonus having Peter Kirsten coming out there, who's also had a lot of experience like yourself.
He has, and he's played a lot of cricket under a lot of pressure, so he's used to the pressure situation, and it is very nice to have him at that spot at number 3.
Well, all I can say is congratulations to you and your team.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone in South Africa is very, very happy, and good luck during the rest of the World Cup.
Well, I just want to also thank Alan and the other guys in the Australian team for the way that the spirit in which the game was played. Certainly the attitude towards me was very, very good, and I really appreciate that because it means a lot to me, and our friendship means a lot to me, and that really made me feel good. And then I just want to thank God who makes everything possible. Thanks very much.
Very well played. Congratulations. Well, there we are, a very happy Kepler Wessels, and I'm sure his whole South African team. And Alan Border has been good enough to come upstairs as well. $1,500. Bad luck. You did say before the start of this particular tournament, the Benson Hedges World Cup, that you thought these first 2 matches were going to be really tough, and that you chaps might be just a little bit edgy in the first 2, and that's the way it's turned out to be.
We just haven't hit our straps at all, Tony. In New Zealand, we just didn't get it together at all, and we lost the plot totally today. So we've got a lot of hard yakka to do over the next couple of days in Brisbane, and hopefully we can get on the rails up there.
Yes, you obviously made a change, you and your fellow selectors, because you felt you needed an extra bowler in the side.
Well, it looked like a pretty good wicket, and we thought that 6 batsmen would do the job, and we thought we might need the extra bowler, but as it turned out, it might have been handy to go the other way. But we just haven't played well enough, and as simple as that. Full credit to the South Africans. They, we got off to a good start, and they pegged it back very, very well. The middle order let us down again, and the bowlers never really had a chance, bowling at 170.
Yes, they look like the one side that'll perhaps match you as far as fielding's concerned, because they looked pretty good out there, didn't they?
Yeah, fantastic effort. As I said, I was always worried about South Africa being a very unknown quantity, but I think now a lot of teams have to sit up and take notice because they're a very competent side.
Well, the Aussies are also great fighters. You've got to win 5 or perhaps 6. You've got Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe. I should think you'll knock them off. You're going to have a few tough ones, though. You'll have a couple of tough ones against England and the West Indies, and
well,
what's the other side?
We've got to do it the tough way now. Obviously we're looking for a better start, but not totally out of it yet. But we'll have to pull our socks up, in a big way and very quickly.
Well, very good luck, and we hope you get there, obviously.
Thanks very much.
Right, well, thank you very much, Alan Border. That's all from down here. Back to you, Richie Benno.
Thanks, Tony. Well, a very happy Kepler Wessels there, and player of the match as well as winning the game as leader of South Africa. Alan Border not quite so happy, and he's got it right when he says the Australians have a lot of work to do, and that's because of what shows here on this points table. First of all, the New Zealanders are the only team with 4 points. Then West Indies, England, Sri Lanka and South Africa each have 2. Zimbabwe, India, Pakistan and Australia, no points as yet. So this historic occasion here, the return of South Africa to the international fold, has resulted in a win for the South Africans. Kepler Wessels, their skipper, the player of the match. For the moment, from the Sydney Cricket Ground, it's good night.